I go to many metalcore concerts, and I often see bands holding up rainbow flags, placing them on stage, or giving speeches against homophobia. However, when I actually approach some of these male band members and flirt with them or try to see whether they might be interested, it turns out that they are heterosexual after all. I do not have an issue with that, because just as much as I cannot change my sexuality, they cannot change theirs either. That is not the problem. The issue is that this kind of pro-LGBT activism gives me false hope. Feel free to call me homophobic, but I often seriously wonder how a heterosexual man can be so strongly involved in gay activism. To me, it sometimes looks suspicious, and that creates the false impression that I might actually have a chance with that person. So why do it at all when it only ends up making me depressed? I have also noticed that alongside these pro-LGBT speeches, many bands speak out against conservative and right-wing political parties. In Germany, for example, a lot of metalcore bands criticize the AfD. While I am not personally a fan of conservatism, I am also critical of left-wing immigration policies that invite large numbers of Muslim refugees into Germany. My father is Muslim, so I am familiar with the homophobia that exists within many conservative Islamic environments. In the end, Islam itself is also socially conservative and right-wing in many ways, so it does not impress me when people loudly protest against conservative white Germans while being much more hesitant to criticize conservative religious ideologies from other cultures. In my opinion, many Germans are reluctant to criticize Islam in the same way because they are afraid of being seen as racist, even though Islam is a religion, not a race. I also question how open-minded the metalcore scene really is. There are cases where certain famous singers appear to be closeted, and sometimes it even seems as if there are PR relationships or lavender marriages involved. I am not going to name anyone specifically, but in some cases, it appears obvious to me. This gives me the impression that labels or management teams may discourage artists from coming out publicly because they fear it could damage their careers. Because of this, I feel conflicted about LGBT activism in the metal scene. On one hand, the activism gives me false hope regarding attractive band members. On the other hand, I also feel that the same scene sometimes supports ideologies or immigration policies that can be hostile toward gay people. At the same time, there still seems to be pressure within the industry for some artists to present themselves as heterosexual. For these reasons, I question whether the metalcore community is really as open-minded as people claim it is.